Hello, divas, diamonds, and dolls. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Femininity with Momma Gail. Let's talk a little bit about Momma Gail's journey, my feminine journey. My feminine journey starting out these past 5 years has not been cookies and cream. Momma Gail has been a trip. In the first years of me listening to YouTubers and trying to figure out this feminine thing and getting turned off by people fighting with trolls on their YouTube channels and me needing to hear like where it is to get started and things of that nature, listening to a 3 hour podcast that could have been 50 minutes because the person is so focused on the trolls that are on the page instead of the moderators doing it. Well, anywho, listening to other people, I got turned off. So I began to search and journey and read and things of that nature for myself. Listening to concrete YouTubers who had a message that was already recorded, I could listen to it and go right into picking up, eating the meat and throwing out the bones, if you will. Because there is some of this new age stuff that Mama Gail just don't get with, and I'm not going to get with. I believe that femininity is a gift. It is a blessing that came from God, the universe, creator, whatever you want to call him. I call him God. So with that, I believe that women were created not to be hard knock, but to be soft and sweet and to complement the masculine. Whereas the masculine goes out and do masculine things, it is up to the feminine to help to not complete but complement and to flow in grace with the masculine. So in my search, in my journey, I was a hot mess because I was in and out of masculine and feminine. My attitude still was crazy. I still had desires for just things that weren't feminine, cussing and letting my attitude go from 0 to 100 and being mean and things of that nature. This was a process for me. And actually in this process, I came out of let me backtrack a little bit. I came out of a marriage, being married for 6 years. Everything spiraled downhill for me. So I was angry about where I was in my life, not happy with where I was in my life. So me trying to work on being happy, being centered, finding peace, trying to be sweet and, nurturing and tender and finding that good place, flowing into feminine essence and being and aura. It was a trip because I didn't feel like being feminine every day. And learning, I kept putting it back and said, I'll do it tomorrow because today such and such has to be told. And I'm going to tell them how I feel, what it is that I need to say because I cannot carry this. So it's a process. And the more I put it off, the further I felt backwards instead of progressing forward. So Mama Gail had to cry some days because I was angry about wanting to respond to some things and not letting people say and get away with some things that I needed to address. But because I was becoming this new creature in the sense of femininity, I had to suppress it. And in suppressing it, instead of me punching a wall or hitting somebody or saying some things that I could never take back, I had to suppress it and cry about it. In the crying process, the more I suppressed what it is that I wanted to say out of anger and pain and rage, and I'm not saying that you are not supposed to have a voice because you always speak your piece, but it's a way to speak your piece when it is to be spoken, because silence is also a gift to a feminine woman. You have to know when to speak. Listen to what you're about to say. Process it before you allow it to flow out of your mouth. But me not being there yet, I had to suppress and cry and feel the pain and feel vulnerable. Feel like somebody's getting over on me. But I recognized that the more I suppressed, the stronger I came, the more I worked on myself from the inside, healing from the things of the past, recognizing where this came from, why I was so angry, that I was rejected and abandoned, and the things that my father had not showed up, and it spilled over into relationships, and me being clingy and needing a man and wanting him, and things of that nature, trying to do everything that I could to keep him and impress him and things of that nature. So when I speak of things in the videos, I'm talking from experience. Mama Gail was clingy. Mama Gail was also controlling. I'm going to control this relationship because you are not going to hurt me. You are not going to play with my feelings. You are not going to do this, and you are not going to do that. And one of my son's father, his friend, was the first one that actually gave me a glimpse of seeing myself, because he said to my youngest son, I have two sons, they're 5 years apart. My youngest son, he says to him, your girlfriend is bossy. And it hit me like, I'm not bossy, I was saying to myself, but when I look back over things, I was very bossy. He had a curfew. He had to be in the house by 3 o'clock because my mama and them has said, if a man is out after a certain time, the bars close. There's nothing to do in the street but get into trouble or between some legs. And because mama and them had told me that, mama and them's word was golden. And Mama Gail was on him like white on rice. One day he came in the house at 4:30. Mama Gail had a fork, because she didn't want to kill him, but she wanted to hurt him enough to know, don't play with me. Don't play with my feelings. Don't play with my emotions. But when I look back over that, I laugh now. But it was very ugly, controlling, dominating, trying to domesticate a grown man and make him conform to what I needed him to be to keep him from being hurt, from hurting me. Real talk. So in being controlling, in being clingy, where you at? Where you going? Why can't I go? If I can't go, why you going? Things of that nature. Not giving him the space that he need, afraid that he wasn't going to come back because of things that happened to me in childhood, with my dad not showing up, making promises and not showing up. Spilled over. So I had to look at all of that. Look at my life and how jacked up it was. One time I was in a relationship in my 20s. Had my own little apartment, and it was this gentleman that I was feeling him. And I thought he was feeling me. He claimed to be. We were in a nice little relationship until one of the young ladies in the projects that I grew up with, a younger young lady, she was a hot box, and she was sleeping with different gentlemen from in the area where we grew up at, even though I had my own apartment in another place. So the gentleman, we were supposed to have this little cookout, this outdoor thing that we were going to have, and he didn't show up. And he called my friend at the time, and she says to me, yo, dude not coming. His name, he's not coming. And I said, why? Because he messed up. Well, what did he do? He slept with such and such, and this, that, and the other, and he feel bad, and he don't want to play with your feelings, and blah, 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 this, that, and the other. I was distorted. I was a wreck for days. I called the cookout off. My spirit was broken. About 21, 22 years old, I did not want to hear that. I stayed in the house, went through depression, he didn't have a car at the time, but I wanted to take a bat and go and just do some damage. But thinking back at that time, how I allowed myself to be shut down for days because of a man, I needed to get myself together and really process this whole feminine lifestyle and changing, looking at and seeing all of this stuff in my mind and how relationships and love was defined to me, and how I was trying to control and dominate and actually losing in this game. So then for a period of time, maybe 2-3 years, I had this little hookup where this guy and it wasn't really a hookup, because what we did was, he wasn't dating anybody, I wasn't dating anybody. So we decided that we were going to spend time together. We did the movies, come to the house, chill out, relax, spend the night, sometimes stay 2 or 3 days or whatever, and just us doing us. I was drinking slow gin and orange juice at the time. That was back in the day. But yeah, we ended up in a situationship for a long period of time until he found a girlfriend. There were gentlemen who were interested in me, but I was so caught up in him that I wouldn't let him go in order to be with somebody else. So I pushed other people off. And then when he got a girlfriend, where was I? Caught up with nobody, because he moved on with the girlfriend, and here I am in a messed up position again. But I'm saying all of this to say to you that because of the messed up, jacked up past of me trying to control and manipulate and do things in a way that wasn't conducive, wasn't blessing me, wasn't helping me to get into something solid and foundation, with a strong foundation, I decided that I needed to change. And I reflected on this in my feminine journey. And in this feminine journey, as I stated before, coming out of a marriage, the marriage wasn't bad. I just wasn't in a place where I wanted to be married, where I wanted to be tied down. I had issues that I needed to deal with, things that I needed to work on. I needed to find me. So in finding me, femininity helped me to get to the place where I needed to be. It helped me to calm my spirit, even in the days that I had to cry, even in the pain that I had to go through, even in suppressing things, even in looking in the mirror, looking at my past, looking at my life, looking at where I was, looking at where I wanted to be. Where I wanted to be played a major part in where I am today. And I'm still not where I want to be. But looking at where I'm going, it's beautiful. I can see the road ahead of me because I've worked on some things from the inner core. I am beautiful from the inside out, and I radiate beauty. And there is nothing that anybody could say or do to pull me down off of where I am, because I know where I'm headed and I'm determined to get there. So I share this with you, young ladies, because Mama Gail don't ever want you to think that I'm perfect and I haven't gone through anything, and I'm not going through anything right now, because the journey is not easy, but the journey is worth it. So on this journey, even as I began to work on myself and see a little light shining and speak confirmations and affirmations over myself and listen to meditation music and, just change the way that I respond to things and change my mindset and started applying the way that I should treat people and being conscious of who I am, how I'm always to present myself and to be. Seeing the evidence of walking into rooms and things of that nature and presence and people seeing the feminine radiance on me, how people respond to me, open doors for me, pay for my meals, pay for things, give me free things. And it's not about the getting of the free, but it's just the evidence of when the change comes, you start to see the manifestation of flowing in feminine energy. Even in relationship with getting connected with masculine energy, it's a pull. The polarity is so strong, and that first time it'll hit you and take you for a loop, like, what the world is this? But seeing the beauty of it, I come to encourage you, young ladies, and let you know that it's worth the work. It may be painful. The journey is not easy. When you've been the way you've been, the way you've always been, and you decide to change, Change hurts, and it's going to fight against what you're trying to change. But I no longer have a desire to be with somebody that I'm not in relationship with. I no longer have a desire to control or try to dominate a situation. I no longer have a desire to be bossy or not be vulnerable and open to trust and to try new things. I no longer feel abandoned because I am responsible for my own happiness and I choose to be happy. Joy is with me because I choose to have joy. I am love. I am lovable. And people love me because I love me. And knowing who I am is not anybody else's responsibility to make me happy or to love me more than I love myself. So the journey is worth the work. If you work it, the change is possible. And if you're not in a place where your life is as messed up as mine was, because there were some other things that I could have pointed on growing up in the projects, the things that I have seen, the images that were in my head, the pain that was inflicted, and things of that nature had a nickname. I had a little flat pie face, so it was people that would call me pie face, call me little Chinese girl, little black Chinese girl, things of that nature, because my face is filled out now. But words hurt, and I was offended by being called pie face. So there are other things that I could have talked about, but these are the things that I need you to hear, to know that the journey is not easy, but the journey is worth it. Because when change comes, sweetie, there is nobody, no man, nobody, no relationship that you will be tied up and entangled and caught up into that you are not able to say, I love me. I'm not going to respond the way that I used to, but I'm going to press forward. And even you probably won't even think about responding the way that you used to because of the newness. Because you know that your future is brighter. There's somebody better, somebody greater out there for you. So this is my journey. And I'm still on the journey, right along with you, young ladies. So let's talk real talk and continue to keep pressing forward in this journey together. This is Femininity with Momma Gail. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you have any questions or comments, please leave me a comment and I will answer it. And if it's something personal, you can send me an email, femininitywithmommagail@gmail.com. Stay blessed, divas, diamonds, and dolls.